Hello everyone, I am PyroFalkon and this is Evil Genius 2. So the last episode was an 8-hour stream, very long, but a ton of fun. And it was so fun that after the stream, I played some more Evil Genius 2 on my own with a side file. I replicated the conditions with Red Ivan and this island, and I experimented a lot with different strategies. I didn't get any further in the story, so this is still kind of a first playthrough, but I have learned a lot about making my base more efficient. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of all these damn corridors, which is what I prefer doing anyway. But the only reason you really need corridors are for traps, like this, and for your cameras, which, like this one, doing their thing. But otherwise, you don't need corridors. So I'm gonna do a little, futzing. Just like my Evil Genius 1 strategy, it's very easy to use lockers to extend your minion cap by building them in your hallways, because your people operate just fine with one tile wide hallways. So it's nice and simple to make a 4 tile wide path, but line the sides with lockers so you have more minions to work with. That still gives your people 2 tiles to walk down without interfering with any business. While my people work on that, in my side file, I have enough lockers that I discovered a hard limit of 300 minions. I don't know how hard of a limit that is. That may be a limit that will be raised eventually, but at least for now, that's what I'm working with. My current cap on this base is 280, so even after all these lockers get done in this section, we're gonna be capped. We'll be in good shape. But the other big problem with this is how to pay for all this, and that is where more of my strategies have been found. Basically, there are 2 important factors when it comes to gathering money. The first, quality is better than quantity when it comes to your networks. And second, this strategy will vary, of course. It's best for me to work with one area at a time so you know exactly who's going to show up in your base. So, in order to make that happen, we are going to destroy all of our networks across the entire planet. When I say quality is better than quantity, that's for after your initial money run. The level 2 areas are way better than having more level 1 areas. The most efficient way I have found to do this is to work with one force of justice at a time. It doesn't matter which one, but it should be one that you are easily in control of. So, for example, as you may have seen in the previous stream, I have no problem dealing with Agent X. So we are going to shut down all networks across the entire map and then start back over here in Patriot's areas with 5 networks. Once those get established, we'll upgrade them to level 2, and I'll show you what I mean. All of my lockers are now built, and I do have a layer capacity of 300. I don't know if that's the maximum yet, but it's our current maximum, regardless of the number of lockers. While we're waiting for the networks to establish, there are a few more things we can do. For example, as I said before, because hallways are pointless, you may as well extend rooms in the direction that you need them if you want more sizable space to work with. So here, we're going to take our control room and just expand it out, because who cares about any of this nonsense? Also, while I'm at it, doors are pointless. They are wasted resources and are generally not helpful. You can use... What the hell? So I'm going to go through and sell most of my doors. You still need them at the front of the base and maybe, say, into the inner sanctum to ensure that you have one additional layer of protection for your evil genius. However, for most of your areas, you will not need doors at all. About the only one I would really recommend is in your vault. You put that behind a laser door if you have it. We still haven't researched it here, but the laser door will help you deal with Symmetry if she is going to attack your base, and that way it will slow her down just enough that you can respond to her threats just a little bit easier. With our criminal networks starting to become established here in the United States, let's take a look at the money, because I know everyone loves hardcore math on these types of episodes here on YouTube. So let's take a look at only the long-term money missions for now. This mission that I have highlighted pays 20,000 gold over the course of 30 minutes. Now that is important because unlike Evil Genius 1, missions in Evil Genius 2 are not binary. In Evil Genius 1 they were binary. You put enough people into them and either they succeeded and you got rewarded, or you failed and got nothing. Here, every so often, I think every few seconds, you get some money out of the mission, or for the heat reduction missions, you reduce some heat in the region. So this mission will give us 20,000 over 30 minutes, or about $667 per minute. Now the worker cost, don't worry about that. 3 workers are nothing, especially because they take you 3 minutes to get. So let's upgrade this criminal network to level 2, and then go from there. While our criminal networks get updated, once again I am selling all of my doors that are deep in the base. Not only do you waste the resource of money, which arguably isn't that bad, but each door takes 1 unit of power, and that adds up when you have a couple dozen doors. Now, the doors close to the front of the base, obviously that's necessary to sort of slow down your enemies. But most of these internal doors, especially to safe rooms, are not necessary. For example, if we have someone who manages to somehow survive the turn and then go into this barracks, all they're going to see are lockers and beds. They're not going to be upset. They'll be upset if they get this deep into our armory, so leaving this door probably is a good idea. And, of course, you always want to secure your power room. You never want to leave that open, no matter how deep in the base it is. It may sound silly to think about the game in terms of time as well, but every door, even a level 1 door, is going to slow your minions down just a little bit when they try to transfer from room to room. And over the course of a multi-hour game, that's going to add up. So, getting rid of these doors early and trying to have as few of them as possible is only going to be good for my base and the flow of my minion movement. My criminal networks are expanding here in the United States. There is no long-term mission that has popped yet in our current Eastern Patriot States zone, probably because there's still this invitation one. However, we can look to the Western ones, and you can see that there is a long-term money mission here. They're always in green. This one is $160,000 over 50 minutes, which works out to $3,200 per minute, nearly 5 times as much money than doing a level 1. Now, granted, you're using twice as many workers, and these missions start costing intel. However, the amount of money that you're going to get out of it is way better. And because the money comes in every so often, even if the mission eventually gets canceled because you change priorities or the super agent is in the way, you will have way more cash as a result, especially given this is only one region. There are 5 regions here, so if we manage to pull this type of mission in each region at the same time in Patriot, we'd be pulling in close to $20,000 every minute. So here, for example, is another identical one. And in the top left, the northwestern Patriot states, Agent X is hanging out, and there are no long-term missions at the moment, but that's fine. In fact, since Agent X is here, he leads me to my next point. Now, there is a strategy where you could put one criminal network like this in each area. That way you can spread yourself out. However, the downside of doing that is if a super agent is in the area, doing any long-term mission is dangerous because not only will it spike your heat faster, but that mission will probably wind up auto-canceling. By sticking with just one Force of Justice intelligence network, in this case Patriot, I can ensure that at least 4 out of my 5 zones are going to be super agent free. That also means all the other super agents around the world, including Symmetry and Wrecking Bola, don't even know I exist and won't bother me. And that is more important. Granted, yes, I will spike my heat in Patriot, which will bring more people to my base from Patriot, and they may be a little stronger than just your average investigators, but we can deal with them. So now that I've got all these networks, we're going to put in missions for the 2 long-term missions that are available, and I guess I'll grab the shorter-term ones.
A trap has been triggered.
So the shorter-term ones give you more money per minute. In this case, it'll be $10,000 per minute, but at the cost of having a much higher heat spike. And it'll have a much higher long-term cost in intel and workers if you keep doing those missions, which is fine. Another issue here is Ms. Foxworth is watching me in this region, so by doing this mission, I'm just inviting John Steele clone number 831 to come to my base. That's fine. I'll deal with him. If you saw that stream, I always dealt with him, and he had a hard time even making it into the base. The only downside is that by running this strategy, I need a lot of intel. And so this small group of intel gathering machines probably aren't going to cut it. So we're going to be moving these rooms around real quick. $20 is a good start for the number of machines you will need, and running intel drains your minions' smarts, so you'll want some machine like these data banks to slow it down. I've just accidentally cut off everything here. I'm going to respace this out. But the point here is 20 intel gathering machines interspersed with the data banks is a good start and should be enough to get you what you need. Finally, as the intel gathering machines are coming up, I can point out one last thing. By default, some of these machines are manned by your yellow shirts, like this guy, but there are other modes that a lot of machines can do. I noticed this during the stream, but I didn't fully appreciate the differences in changing the modes. So, for example, the intel gathering machines can be switched to scientists. If this happens, only scientists can use the machine. From what I've tested, it doesn't seem like it's any better. It could be. I just don't know. But one thing this can help with is if you have a surplus of minions, you can assign them these kinds of things so they were at least doing something. In my side file, I have 40 scientists and only, I think, 2 or 3 scientist machines. So what's the point of having nothing to do for them? So what I'm going to do is assign half of these to scientist mode. And one of the cool things you can do is set it to scientist mode even before it's built. So as soon as it gets built, it will be used by the scientist. You can see my yellow shirt immediately got up to leave after I made that change. So I am going to continue to monitor this and make sure that my scientists actually use them for that. But that is one thing that the priorities list can be for. So if you go to your minion manager, filter it by the job in question, then you can switch specific people's priorities to handle the control room. I don't have very many scientists on this save, but I'm going to fix that, because having a surplus of scientists to continue working on your intel gathering machines is usually a pretty good idea. It's the same for the camera monitors. You can see that 4 of my monitors are not being monitored, and that's because of a lack of workers in my base. I only have 18 workers. Many of them are queuing for those missions I sent out. So you can switch the cameras to muscle mode, and then that way, the only people who use the cameras are your soldiers, which in this case is good, because I have 100 soldiers in my lair, so I will always have the manpower to keep an eye on those cameras. So I'm not sure how long this episode has gone. According to my stopwatch, it's close to 20 minutes, so hopefully it's not too much higher or lower. I just got alerted that a wave of super agents is here, but again, I highly doubt anyone but Agent X is going to be among them, because why? No one else knows I exist. There is one more thing I can do to to make my base a little bit more efficient, but I'm going to do that in the next... Oh, that's what happened. You guys got real deep in the base. Excellent. But I'm going to save that for the next episode. It's just one little tiny change, and that will ensure that very few people even make it this far into my base, and then we can get back to the main story and start working on taking over the world for good. So that's going to do it for today. I know this episode was a bit weird. I had my guide writer hat on, so it goes. I can't help who I am. But we'll be doing a much more standard Let's Play starting tomorrow. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode.